Hello and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, where it's time for the penultimate episode in this series of Let's Play Planet Coaster, the London Resort. Welcome to episode 10, and yes, in this video, nice action-packed episode for you all, I'm going to be working on the studio themed area. Now, of course, in episode 9, I did kind of start work on the infrastructure around here, just before I worked on the Isles themed area, and yeah, I just kind of added in a few of the facades and one of the show buildings, just to kind of get a gist for how this was going to look. Now, we're going full on, and you're really going to see this come to life over the next 20 minutes or so. Along with that, I'm going to be building the signature attraction for the area, which is going to be located in one of the buildings, and you've probably already seen it in the thumbnail. It is, of course, an indoor roller coaster. Now, my plans did completely change because, like I said back in Wednesday's episode, the BBC and ITV have pulled out from the real theme park. So I was originally going to do a couple of different attractions, maybe 3 attractions based on BBC and ITV IPs. However, I've scrapped that off now. I want to make it realistic, and yeah, that isn't going to be happening. So what I've decided to do is build one big indoor coaster and then kind of leave the other buildings pretty much empty. Yes, there's a few restaurants and other facilities that you're going to see going in. However, there is room for expansion, and I think that's something what the London Resort will probably do anyway. With some of the buildings here, you look at the concept art and there's so many buildings, there's no way that they'd fill all that straight away for the opening. It'd be silly to, really. They may as well leave some of them kind of just nice facades, but with nothing on the inside, so they've got room for expansion. And in terms of with the game, it means that when you download this park, of course, if you play Planet Coaster yourself, of course, you'll know that I always upload my parks into the workshop about a week after the final episode. And yeah, it means you'll be able to actually kind of add more into the studio themed area. I mean, you'll be able to expand the whole park if you want to, but yeah, especially the studio area, I'm going to leave some empty buildings for you to kind of do what you want with and add some of your own attractions in there. So yeah, that's one for you to look forward to. But yeah, we've got all these different facades going around because like I say, you know, everything is indoors. You can't see one outdoor ride at all in the concept art for this area. Everything is hidden away, so I thought, well, let's go for that and make it nice and realistic and do lots of different facades. Now, I didn't want it to all look too samey, so what I've done is use loads of different windows and shop fronts and brick walls and roofs and all that kind of stuff to put this together to make it look really different. And obviously, you know, at first I was thinking, is it going to start looking a bit too square and not very natural? But then I was thinking, well, you've got, you know, it's coming together nicely. It's more of like a backlot. These are all film sets, you know, they'd be filming out on these streets, and that's kind of all the idea of this themed area. So yeah, that is exactly what I am doing, and over the next few minutes you're going to see me just working more on these facades. Now, just going back to episode 9, I did say that I needed some names, or at least I was supposed to say that in the episode, but I forgot, so I wrote it in the comments after as a pinned comment. But yes, I did need some names for the 3 attractions in that area, so I'm going to go through all of them now as I continue on putting in the buildings here, these round ones now just around the fountain area, the little pond that we've got just there. So yes, let's go back to the Isles. Starting off with the swinging ship, I've gone for a great name that stood out to me because it's actually one of my quotes whenever I go on a rapids at a theme park, a real theme park, and that's the Mega Wave. So thanks to the Maxilorian for that one. Love your YouTube name. The Mega Wave is the name for that one. Little TPW kind of mention in there, which I really like. We've then got the teacups there, and I've gone for the Enchantress, which is a great name thanks to Musical Theatre Geek. So yeah, we've got the Enchantress, which is a really nice name, and then for the carousel, we've gone for the Royal Horse Race, thanks to Intensity Coasters for that one. And of course, that was your final chance to name attractions in this park. So I'd just like to say thank you so much to everyone who has commented name suggestions, storylines, ideas, everything really, over the past 10 episodes. I really appreciate it. It really has been an epic series. I know many of you have said that, you know, it's your favourite part that I've built, and I really appreciate that because, like I say, it's not really my style of park. You know, I've just been going off the concept art and trying to make it as realistic as I can do to that. But I'm really pleased that you like it. I think it's come together nicely, and the studio here already 5 minutes into the episode, look at this, we've got this big open kind of square area, and it's looking really nice now with all the trees just here. So I really wanted to make sure that I added as much detail into this area as I could do. You know, when you're standing down there as a guest, you see all these beautiful facades and, of course, yeah, some really nice landscape gardens and vehicles and all that jazz. It's all coming together nicely now. We've got the street lights just going in there. We've got lots of picnic benches there as well, just to kind of chill out on. Like, look at that. I'm really pleased with just how quick it came together over the past sort of minute there. You've just kind of seen it all starting to come together nicely. This kind of park and relaxing area, because it's a very green park, this, and obviously with the studio area, you know, there was no real green space. So I thought, well, we need to make sure there's some in the middle of the pathways. Something else I was adding in just here was the road markers. It's not like Roller Coaster Tycoon where you can actually get road markers actually built into it. With Planet Coaster, you have to add them in yourself. So I'm just using these little wall pieces, lowering them down into the ground so they're pretty flat as they can do and still show through the tarmac just there. Something else I did for a nice effect was just add some more signs around for the different studios. Like we've got Studio 5, you know, all the different studios around, Studio 4. Just random signs just to add all the way around this. And you've got to think as well, you know, a lot of these buildings here, they're going to have big empty spaces for you to add your attractions in. You can edit the facades if you wanted to as well, and that kind of stuff as well. Now, I was originally thinking, oh, do I do a Ghostbusters dark ride? But I just don't think that's something that's going to feature at the London Resort. So I wanted to keep it realistic and not do that. Along with that, I could have done a Back to the Future ride, but I thought, no, I've already done one before, and again, I don't think there's going to be a Back to the Future ride, unless Universal get involved in the project. I mean, the concept art looks like Universal's, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening. So yeah, I thought I'm going to stay away from that. I'm just going to do one nice big indoor coaster in the largest of the buildings here, and you're going to see me working on that shortly. Got a nice box truck going in just there. Lots of different vehicles just added onto the roads, just to kind of, yeah, make the area look nice. We've got the traffic lights up there. We've got the cop cars going in there as well. Just all photo opportunities. This area inspired a little bit by all of your kind of studio parks out there. The old Streets of America in Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. Along with that, the Universal parks, Universal Studios, of course, in Florida. Had it kind of heavily inspired by there with all the streets. And yeah, again, just kind of putting it all together nicely, like it's this backlot kind of studio tour, you know, that we've gone with here, and it's a nice area. Like I'm really pleased with how the overall look of it is, because at first I was thinking, is it going to just look too boxy and too flat? But as you can see now, it's coming nicely. We've got the water tower up there on the top as well. That's an iconic kind of staple, isn't it, of any studio. And then yeah, just adding in some street lights down to the bottom section. And then working on the planting around here. We're going to add some more nice kind of boxed fences around here using the hedges instead of a standard fence, just kind of adding them all the way around. And as you'll see now, we're just putting them around the little pond that we've got there as well, that we're going to put loads of water fountains inside just there as well for a nice effect. So yeah, just adding some big trees into the middle there, just to add some greenery, because as much as it is a studio, there's still going to be some greenery around, and we've got all these buildings. I wanted to make sure that, you know, we've got something in the middle of the path, so it'd just be a big open kind of wide path. Now, the coaster that I'm going to be building shortly is going to be in the building off to the left hand side just there. So yeah, it's going to take up that whole building, so stay tuned for that coming up momentarily. So yeah, we're just going around now, adding some more details onto these facades, different signs, and like I say, some of them are actually going to have facilities, some toilets, some guest services. Along with that, there's going to be some restaurants and cafes, bars inside them. But in general, you know, if you do download this park in the workshop afterwards, you know, you can remove them restaurants if you want to and put big dark rides in. I was looking at possibly doing a robo-arm kind of dark ride, because I've not done one before in the game. But yeah, that would have took a good couple of episodes to have built. And as you all know, we're coming towards the start of the season. I'm actually going to be in Florida in just a few days' time, and videos from Florida will start daily on the channel from Tuesday. So yeah, stay tuned for those. So that does mean that the final episode I have decided to bring forwards to Monday. So you've only got 2 days to go. Obviously, it's Saturday today. There's only 2 days to go until the final episode in the series. I've brought that forwards. And of course, that is going to be a full tour of the park, on-ride POVs, riding the dark rides with my signature audio that I always do, and much more. So stay tuned for that. Final episode won't be Wednesday. Bringing it forward, it will be on Monday. And there it is, the entrance to the coaster, looking very swanky at night there with all the studio lighting. It's the Backlot Express. Now, in terms of the style of coaster that I'm going to be going for this, I'm actually going to be using a Premier Ride Skyrocket for this one, because I thought that would be great. It's not going to have any inversions, but it is going to feature a few launches. And I just thought they were the trains and kind of track design that I feel like this coaster would have if it was in real life. Now, again, we don't know what really is going to be built in any of these buildings at the London resorts. We didn't know even when BBC and ITV were involved. Now that's changed a few days ago. They've pulled out of the contracts, basically, that they're not going to be part of the park. Then yeah, we really don't know what's going to be inside these. So that's another reason for me leaving some of these empty and just doing them as nice facades. However, I thought, well, let's go for a nice big coaster, a family coaster inside, our third launch coaster at the park, because again, you know, I can't see them building, say this park really does get built, I don't think they're going to be able to build really tall, to be honest. So I thought, well, yeah, using launches is a great way, of course, of utilising the space, especially with it being an indoor building. So yeah, you're going to really start to see that come together in the next few minutes. Just adding in some more details on the facades here as well. As you can see, we've got the nice windows and doors just going on there. Again, these could be used for anything in the future. You could put some restaurants and shops in there, or you could just leave them as nice kind of facades. You know, you've got to think it is a studio area, so we can get away with leaving things empty, you know, because it's a pretend film set, really. And that's what you're going to be doing on this roller coaster. You're going to be having a journey around the actual backlot storage area. So I've come up with a name for this one, the one ride that I've named, the Backlot Express. And yes, this is literally going to be a tour through the props department, all the different sets, and yeah, a behind the scenes look at the magic of the movies. And this will be the signature ride in the area. And yes, as you can see, it's a Premier Ride Skyrocket. So we're going straight in with a nice little section that takes you around to the left into that first launch. Not too fast, maximum speed about 30 miles an hour, up into a mini airtime hill just there. And of course, we're going to drop round that to the right and then go into a bit of a downward helix there as well. Bit of downward helix. If you watch our vlogs on the channel, then you'll know about that one. And talking of vlogs, we've got so much coming up, hence why, you know, I needed to wrap this Planet Coaster series up. If I wasn't going to Florida, I could have just about got another couple of episodes in, but I'm going to be heading to Florida in a couple of days, and then of course we're into the UK parks opening up. So I've just managed to squeeze this series in between the California trip in January and of course going back to Florida and the UK parks reopening. It's been a tight squeeze to get it in, but I think the park looks really nice. And yeah, I'm glad that, you know, I've kind of built the studios area to how I wanted to, with the facades and the general look of it. Yes, another big ride would have been nice in this area, but I can leave that to you guys. You can add that in at your own accord if you do download it. So yes, we've got that nice kind of downward helix all the way around, and then back round and up. And then of course we're going into a double down, which is going to take us into the second launch on this ride. Obviously, we're utilising the shape of the show building here. Very interesting shape for a roller coaster. Normally, you might just have a big kind of square, but we've got a big square and then a kind of rectangle next to it. So, yeah, we had to really utilise the space and maximise it. And as you'll see with the layout shortly, I'll actually be going back down that section in just a moment as well. After the second launch, that kind of boosts it up again to about 30 miles an hour. Nothing too intense. And then, yeah, we're going to go up into a nice airtime hill there before one of the bigger drops on the ride. And then, yeah, we're going to go bank round to the right-hand side just here into kind of a bit of an upward helix section, which is going to take us round, really utilise that space. Nice bit of banking on there. And of course, we're going to keep this building pretty much open inside. I'm not going to be blocking it off into different rooms and sections other than the station area. But you'll see what I'm going to do in just in a moment. You may have already worked that out from the video thumbnail. But yeah, it gives you an idea. We're then going to bank round to the left just here as well. Another helix. full of helixes on this ride. But yeah, it's just a nice family coaster, nothing too fast, no real intense launches or anything like that. I didn't want that for this. It needs to be another kind of family ride and indoors, and would have struggled to fit anything with massive inversions on this kind of site as well. So I thought, well, let's go for something without inversions. You know, we don't need that. It's a storytelling coaster, this one, not necessarily about the thrills. You know, it's storytelling. That's what it's all about. So at this section here, we're just meandering around, thinking, can I fit the track through there? Yes, I can. So we're going to go into a third launch now. So yeah, 3 launches in total on this roller coaster. And yeah, that's going to launch us out again. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the layout and just how much I'm managing to fit inside the building so far here, really. Because I wasn't too sure on exactly how much track was going to be able to fit inside, but yeah, it's looking good. So yeah, we got that third launch there, again up into a nice little pop of airtime before turning round to the right hand side. And again, the launch speed, nothing too intense there. In fact, this is only about a 25 miles an hour launch just there, boosting it up, rolling launch. None of them stop, and even the first launch comes around that corner, rolls straight into it. Obviously, you can do stoppages and that kind of stuff, but in my opinion, that only slows down the throughput. And we want a pretty good throughput on this ride, especially with it being the only attraction in this area of the park initially. So, yeah, we want some good throughput. Dropping down up into an airtime hill, then back up again, another little airtime hill before banking down to the right. Quite a steep drop there because we need to get the clearance under that piece of track. So yeah, that took a little bit of working out just to make sure that the clearance was correct. And then yeah, into the brakes, and then of course we're going to just finish the track off there. And that's the beauty of like auto-complete in Planet Coaster. I don't use it all the time, but it's nice sometimes just to use auto-complete if you're not too fussed about, you know, that after the brake run section, you know, that leads up to the station. You can easily use that, and it's great, brilliant tool in the game. But yeah, now we're just working on the theming. So obviously we've got all the facades on the outside. We're going to kind of replicate that on the inside here. So as you can see, we're putting all these windows in. This is literally going to block the whole of the coaster off from the station and queue line. So all you're going to see, it's kind of themed to be like an outdoor station, even though it's undercover. Again, the reason I've done that is because, you know, we need indoor attractions. This is a British park to be built in Kent. So yeah, we need to make sure that things are covered over as much as we can. And I think that's why it was really important that we had a full indoor coaster at this park. For all we know, in them plans, and if the park does happen, there may be a couple of indoor coasters, maybe 2 or 3 of them, because you look at some of the older plans for the London Resort and there was nearly 10 coasters in the plans. That's really been reduced to maybe 5. So yeah, it's quite hard to really see. So obviously I've gone for just 1 indoors, but there could be more. Who knows? So yeah, we're kind of working on the station area there. Originally, I put all black walls up, kind of blocking out the walls. So you didn't see them, but then I took them down because I later realized, actually, you know, the double-sided facades, we can use both sides. Why am I covering them? So just to add another facade on. So yeah, I took them black walls down, and it means, you know, them windows, you're actually going to be able to look from the outside into this station area and queue from the outside, which should be pretty cool. We've got this big 52-seater coach coming in here, or is it a 64-seater? I don't know. I'm not a coach expert. I don't know why I'm making out like I am. That's just a nice little set piece to go in. We've got a subway carriage going in just there, train carriage, which is quite a cool little feature. And that's the thing with this. It's the Backlot Express, so we can get away with putting in pretty much anything. We've got a van just going in there, all sorts we can get away with putting into this area. We've got some moving spotlights, camera equipment, roadblocks, barrels, you name it. All sorts of random stuff going to be going into the Backlot Express. So yeah, we're starting off with the queue line area here, putting lots of random props and theming in. None of it really needs to make much sense. It's a studio. It's behind the scenes at a studio tour. That's what you're doing on this ride. And a ride that actually really inspired me with this was Movie Park Studios at Movie Park Germany. That's a new ride manufactured by Intamin that opened last year. And you know what? That was really good and quite an enjoyable ride. So yeah, that kind of inspired me with this. As much as that does have a backwards launch and an outdoor section, you know, I thought they were more the weaker parts of that ride, so I thought let's not go with that. We could have done a backwards launch and an outdoor section on this, but I didn't want to. I thought let's go for something different. But yeah, we're adding lots of other props in here. We've got a helicopter going in just there now. That's a news helicopter. I was looking at a couple, but then I decided now we'll just have the one up there as like an impact that you're going to see when you turn that first corner. And up there into the first launch. We've got fire truck going in there, all sorts of vehicles, whatever vehicles are in the game I'm putting in there because they're all kind of props. You know, we're not kind of recording anything here. This is more storage, and camera equipment's going to be kind of getting ready to be taken out. That's kind of the idea of the Backlot Express, you know, what you're seeing here. So yeah, lots of random vehicles and different props around. And I really like just kind of filling the gaps because I feel like that's really important. That's a big thing to do is filling the gaps with things. And something you're really going to notice, obviously, in episode 11, that final episode that's coming on Monday instead of Wednesday, remember that Monday, is that, you know, you're going to be seeing POVs from every ride, and the POVs that I've shown you from the other coasters have been without the theming. Now, with this coaster, you're going to have to wait until Monday to see a POV. I'm going to save it until the final episode to see a POV of this one, but you're going to get to see, of course, all of the rides complete with all the theming, all the audio that I've done, and yeah, just the full complete package of the London Resort. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Of course, all 6 themed areas here all come together, and you know what a project it's been. Time now to just kind of reflect on the build. You know, it's been an action-packed one, especially releasing 2 episodes a week. I'm not gonna lie, it's been pretty tough sometimes just to get them out because I've been doing other things as well, but luckily it has been a quieter time. You know, before the parks have all reopened, me and Charlotte did our big California trip in January, which was amazing. Come back from that, and of course there's not been loads of parks open and that kind of thing. We've been waiting for the main season, so yeah, it's been a good kind of time to do this series. I know you all wanted to see Planet Coaster. I know you'd all thought that it was done for Theme Park Worldwide, you know, but that certainly wasn't the case. I had this episode that I really wanted to do based around the London Resort, you know, so that's why I've done that. Now it leads me on to talk a little bit about the future of Planet Coaster on Theme Park Worldwide. Obviously, you know, it's very time consuming building these parks, and I feel like, you know, over all the series I've done since 2016, I've really covered the game and explored it so much. I've built so many parks and used all the different themes and most of the rides. You know, I'm not saying I'm running out of ideas, but I've done so much now with this game that, you know, I'm really hoping they do release a Planet Coaster 2. Now, if they release a Planet Coaster 2, that'll be absolutely amazing. However, in terms of where my creativity goes, I've got more in me, but with Planet Coaster, you know, I'm kind of getting to the point now where I've used a lot of things and using the same items, so I don't know when there's next going to be Planet Coaster content. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say there's going to be another series, you know, imminently. There may be another series, or possibly there won't be. You know, I don't know now where to go with Planet Coaster. You know, I still enjoy playing the game. I have actually been taking up playing a bit of Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 again lately, and especially Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So I was thinking maybe of doing a series of that in the future, but I don't know. Obviously with Theme Park Worldwide, we're going to be out filming a lot of vlogs, so I'm not going to have the time for kind of gaming for at least, you know, the summer months now, spring and summer. But who knows? Watch this space. I'm going to have a good think over the kind of next few months about where I want to go. I know there's still a big following for Planet Coaster, especially here on Theme Park Worldwide. So yeah, let's kind of see where that's going to go. But the important thing is the coaster's looking good, the park looks great, and here's a couple of screenshots to end the episode, because I'll be back on Monday with the final episode in the series of Let's Play Planet Coaster, the London Resort. I will see you all then, and that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you on Monday.